Hi, I'm Giancarlo.
I'm Felicia. Whoa. Sorry.
You alright there?
It's really hot in here. I'm sorry.
You usually fix it before the... This is our review. I was about to say preview. This is our review of...
Votes.
Robot Battle Arena. And this is by...
What a stupid name. What?
You're so mean.
But Robot Battle Arena, why?
Because it's a Robot Battle Arena.
I don't understand.
What's about Battle
Oh, okay,
Arena?
so these guys are in
Yeah,
the
they're
arena.
robot. They're remote controlled
What?
robots.
So there's a remote control in here?
In Volt Robot Battle Arena, players play as competitors who program their radio-controlled robots to victory by being the first to score 5 victory points. Each player will take a player board, a dice of each of the 3 colors, red, white, and blue, and a player screen with their matching color robot miniature. Place one of the 2 double-sided boards in the middle of the table with each edge parallel to the top edge of each player board. Set all victory and damage tokens in a respective pool, along with the sequence token randomly face down near the board. For this review, we'll keep it to the base game and skip playing with the power-up tokens, but we'll talk about them later on. Roll the control die and find the matching number on the board. This will be the space to finish the round on to score 1 victory point. You're now ready for some twisted metal.
Each round consists of 4 phases, which are conveniently illustrated behind each player screen. Always in this order they are: place your action dice, reveal and resolve actions, score victory points, and respawn. Placing your action dice will program your robot to do those actions in the next step. To do so, you will simply choose and place your dice along with a chosen side onto the sections of your player board. The left grid is movement command, and the right is weapons control. These dice will take effect in the next phase: reveal and resolve dice. What's important to remember when placing dice is that the red dice will activate first, followed by the white, and lastly the blue dice when resolving actions. When all dice are placed, put your thumb up to say you're locked and loaded. And when all players are locked and loaded, we move on to the reveal and resolve actions.
All players will now reveal their dice placement simultaneously. Everyone compares the red dice number, and the player with the lowest will do that order first. Ties are broken by the die placed in the movement grid going first. If a tie persists, calculate the total of all dice placed by the tied players, and the one with the lowest goes first. If another tie persists, the tied players will draw a sequence token, and the lowest will get to act first. When the red dice are done by all players, move them off the player board, keeping the same number visible. We then move on to the white dice, and finally followed by the blue dice. For movement, a die on a space will move your robot in that direction relative to the board, the exact number of spaces listed on that die. For example, a die here with the number 4 will have you move the robot 4 spaces to the right. A maximum of 2 dice can be placed on the movement grid. Any opposing robots in your path will get pushed as you continue your movement, unless they hit a border. Moving on to the repair center will immediately remove any damage counters you have in front of you. Which brings us to our next available actions, firing weapons. This works the same way in terms of direction, but is different in 2 respects. First, you can shoot diagonally, and secondly, the number you chose on the die is not for distance, but rather for effect should you hit another robot. When firing, range is unlimited on the board, and a shot will hit the first robot in its path. If it does hit another robot, and you place 2 or more on that firing die, you will trigger an effect as listed on the player's screen. These range from moving their weapons grid dice 45 degrees clockwise or counterclockwise for a 2 or 3, moving all their dice 90 degrees clockwise or counterclockwise for a 4 or 5, and pushing the robot 1 space away in your firing direction if you chose a 6. These, of course, will affect their upcoming dice resolution. When you hit a robot, its owner will receive a damage token. Should he receive a 3rd one, the robot will be removed from the board. He'll put his damage token in the central pool, and the player dealing the fatal blow will earn a victory token. Same is true if he had pushed a robot in a pit by either moving or firing him there.
The other way to win victory points happens in the next phase, scoring victory points. Should any robot be on the space matching the control dice, its owner earns a victory point token. If so, that player will roll the control die for the next control point. If no one did receive a victory point in this phase, The control point remains the same. When completed, this phase is done. We move on to the respawn. Every robot that was destroyed this round will have that player spawn them on any space on the edge of the board in the order they were destroyed. Play continues this way until a player reaches 5 victory points and can be crowned the winner.
Volt is a programming game that really does what it says: assess, anticipate, annihilate. More importantly, it's a hell of a great time doing it. Where we think Volt excels over other programming games is that there's less of a sense of chaos as opposed to others in its genre. And if that chaos does happen, it had to do with more of assessment or anticipation from a player than luck, which is kept to a strict minimum and only really comes into play when drawing sequence tokens. The way the game mechanics are implemented works extremely well, from firing faster with less damaging effects or firing last with more damaging results, to programming the timing of what you want your robot to do with the different colored dice. Thematically, it's all there, and maybe a little too much so. What I mean by that is in terms of its artwork. The gray monotone of robot competition in real life is represented here in the game. I think maybe something different in terms of imagery would make this game a little more appealing at first glance, but that's just our opinion. The replay value is certainly there, not just because it's a very fun game, but the different modes from draft, team play, and advanced mode, which introduces over a dozen more weapons modules from twin blasters, mines, grenade, repulsion fields, tractor beam, and whatnot, makes it a unique experience every time. And of course, the player interaction will always be there with minimal downtime. Sure, most victory points will be awarded by destroying a robot rather than ending the round on a control point, since anyone can aim in that direction with a 6 and know they'll push the robot away from scoring. Remember, moving happens before firing on a tie and no one can ever move more than 6. But come on, you're still destroying your friend's robots. How is that never a good time? Volt Robot Battle Arena gets 8 programmed robots out of 10.